You know, I think for Khabib, it's going to be something competitively. You know, I think his financial position is so different. You know, he's not, I don't think it's just going to be money anymore. You know, I think when you get to a certain point in your life, money's great, obviously. But, I mean, he lives in the mountains in Dagestan, Russia. You know, I mean, how much do you really need? You know what I'm saying? I'm figuring you don't need all that much. And he's a smart guy. He's got a lot of different ventures outside of the octagon. So something competitive that goes, wow, this makes me want to put everything else aside and get back to work at preparing for a fight, because that's what it takes, right? You don't just go to a fight. Everything else is on hold as you prepare. And for a guy like Khabib, who has so many irons in the fire, it will take something that excites him in order to get him back in training camp.
He has very strong family ties. Obviously, he promised his father that he wouldn't go into the octagon again without his father being there. Do you think that, you know, he'll go back to his mom now and say, Mom, I want to do this once more? Or do you think he's going to leave it at that?
I don't know. I mean, you know, we were at dinner the other day, and he actually asked me. He goes, "What do you want? Like, what do you want me to do?" And I was like, "I don't really care. Like, I really don't care." He was like, "Come on, say this. Tell me." I was like, Khabib, I don't care. I go, "You fight, I'll support you. I'll help you prepare as we always have. I go, if you don't, we'll still talk. We'll still see each other when Umar fights and Islam fights and everybody else. It just really doesn't matter to me. I have no vested interest in him fighting or if he doesn't fight. Granted, as a fan of the sport, you want him to fight. As the organization, they should want him to fight. Dana should want him to fight. What Dana's doing is what he should be doing as a promoter. They should want Khabib Nurmagomedov in the octagon. But for me, personally, as a friend, I really don't care. And I guess I don't know if he thought that was going to be the answer, because he was telling me, you know, no, tell me. As a fan, as a fan, people want you to fight. But ultimately, it's your decision. Like, I gain nothing. No money. He ain't going to pay me. I mean, for all the wrestling practices, he's giving me not one red cent. So it's like, ultimately, I ain't getting no money out of this. I get to watch my buddy do something that I know he loves to do. He loves to compete, and he's the best at it, right? And why? And when you look at the matchups, it's like, why would he not? You know, because he's so much better than everybody else. You know, so it has to be something that makes him believe, oh, this is going to be much tougher for me. This is something that I'm going to have to really prepare for if I want to continue to dominate in the way that I do. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Yeah, it's fine. Mm-hmm. Oh, absolutely, yeah. Yeah, I mean, that makes sense too. You know, hey, Conor did better than most, right? He was able to defend some takedowns. He was able to get back to his feet. He was able to stay standing the entire third round, I believe. And I think the judges might have gave him the round, right? So he did better than most. But again, it's going to take something very special for Khabib to say, to all the promises I made and everything else, this is what I want to do. And I don't know. I don't know if that's what it's going to take. Now, Conor looks like a world beater against Dustin. Maybe he goes, you know what? The guy's improved. And maybe, you know, I really don't know what his mindset is. I mean, I was in the restaurant. Khabib was eating fish that's not on the menu because he's the man now. You know, like there was some fish flown in, and it was beautiful. He was just kind of living like the champ, you know, talking about life and everything else. And I don't know what would make this young man decide to do it again. And I believe that the organization is doing what they need to do in order to try to get him back in there. But we'll have to see. Well, you know, look, you want some Instagram followers? He got those after the first fight, right? Dude went from, then you have like 1.5 million to like 12 overnight, you know, right? So like the rub to become an international superstar has already been achieved, right? And honestly, Khabib does not like Conor McGregor as Conor doesn't like Khabib. But there is no stressing how important it was for Khabib to share the octagon with him, because his profile internationally changed on the night he beat Conor McGregor. You cannot deny that. But ultimately, what can another fight with him do for him on that side of things and competitively. Once again, Conor fought him the best that he's been fought in a long time, right? So maybe Conor would show improvements that would say, tell Khabib, yes, I do want to fight him. I do want to go out there and do it again. But, you know, there's a lot to it, you know, and I think when it comes to family over in Dagestan, it means Umar Nurmagomedov. I went into the locker room last night, and I was wearing my suit, and I wear Cole Haan shoes. Just tennis shoes, nice tennis shoes. And Khabib goes, look at, brother, you have nice suit, but you wear tennis shoes. Why? You can't understand. And he goes, look at me, and he takes out a picture, shows me nice shoes, Laura Piana shoes, whatever that is. I have no idea what that is. And they tell me Umar's going to buy me Laura Piana shoes after he wins. He goes, brother, you're a millionaire. Why don't you have nicer shoes? I go, bro, I choose to wear these shoes. You know what Umar texted me this morning? Brother, I will buy you these shoes, DC. I go, Umar. I go, if I went to buy these shoes, I could buy the shoes. I don't want, they're comfortable for me. I choose to wear them. But Umar Nurmagomedov, who just fought last night, first UFC fight, made an extra 50 grand, was going to spend his money to buy me $1,200 shoes. It's like, that's just how these guys are. They say something, and they try to stick to it. And I believe that's kind of where Khabib is with his mom.
What do you make of Umar's performance last night?
I thought he did fantastic. He hurt him with a beautiful front leg high kick. Rushed a little bit to try to chase down the finish, but as fighters, especially young fighters, you do that at times. But for him to show the improvements in the wrestling, the grappling, and the control, I think he's going to be a problem. Because if you remember, call back to 2012-13, Glacier Tebow, Khabib could not strike like this young man. So he has got an advantage in that sense, that he's much more well-rounded to start his UFC journey.
And you touched on Justin getting Conor's respect early. How does he do that without leaving himself susceptible to the counter? We've seen before in the Eddie Alvarez fight when Eddie tries to come in and get reckless.
You can't be reckless. He's too sharp. Conor's too sharp. He's a sniper, man. Dude's a legit sniper. His timing, his accuracy is so fantastic. Maybe kicking. Maybe kicking's going to be the thing. You know, they're both southpaw, so you can throw some outside leg kicks. You can kind of throw some high kicks. Just kind of hit him without putting yourself in danger. Because guess what? High kicks don't get countered. Low kicks do, body kicks do, but high kicks, they can't counter that. You got to get your hands up and just defend. And I think Dustin has to give Conor things that he can only defend in order to gain some respect.
And other than the main event, what fight are you most looking forward to on the card?
I mean, come on, man. Chandler and Dan Hooker. Like, how does Chandler do? I mean, Michael Chandler's a savage. But Dan Hooker, man, we spoke to him on Monday, I believe, because I don't even know what day it is today, honestly. Dan Hooker is so comfortable. He was more open in the fighter meeting than I've ever seen him. I was there when he fought in Australia. He was very shut off. He was like very... he was very like... He wasn't very open to talking about what he was going to do, because when you're in that fighter meeting, it's Monday. You fight Saturday. You never know where that information goes. You got to trust that the analysts or those 5 people in the room will keep that to themselves, which we do. He was much more open to believing that fact this week and as he's gone longer in his career than he was initially. And for Michael Chandler, this is a big spot for him. You know, I always, I kind of like relate this to... I'm a WWE guy, right? Like, I love wrestling. I relate it to when the big signing from WCW, Ric Flair, was brought into the WWF and at the time, and instead of making him beat Hulk Hogan or the Ultimate Warrior, you throw him in the Royal Rumble, right? Michael Chandler was the backup fighter for the championship. Didn't get to fight in there. So guess what? You don't get to fight Conor McGregor, but we'll throw you on the card with him. And if you look good, he looks good, there's a chance you guys will come together, right? So there's ways to get guys in the place that you want them to get without having them in that spot right away. This is a big spot for Michael Chandler. He can be Ric Flair. And who doesn't want to be Ric Flair? I mean, I don't know. Ric Flair's like 70, and he's lived the most interesting life on the planet, you know, so. They never did, but Flair sure won that Royal Rumble, and what did he walk away with? This is the greatest moment of my life, with a tear in my eye. You remember that? With a tear in my eye, this is the greatest moment of my life. When he was standing back there, Mr. Perfect, Bobby Heenan, WWF title. Still had the WCW title. Do you remember? He left the organization with the big belt. That was some gangster stuff right there.
Last question, guys.